they both same? Are they both different? The answer to this question is, now one question was asked by a student, sir, why 360? Why only 360 part? Why not 100 part? 100 would have been more convenient. The answer to this thing is, sir, why you have written two formulas? These are not the two formula. This is the way of writing the single formula only. Whenever you are given any angle in degree and you are asked to write that angle in radian, then you are going to use this one. And whensoever you are given an angle in radian and you are asked to write that angle in degree, then you are going to use this angle. But when you are talking about trigonometric function, the input to the angle can be anything. We will be learning how angle is defined, what are the different units of defining an angle, how one unit of an angle can be converted into another unit. Make a spiral. If you are making a spiral, then 1 revolution, 2 revolution, 3 revolution, 4 revolution, any revolution would be itself very clear. Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing pretty well. The topic that we are gonna study today has application not limited up till mathematics, but has a tremendous application in variety of branches of science. The topic is trigonometric function. In astronomy and aeronautics, the trigonometric function is used for satellite navigation. In geography, it is used for GPS tracking. There is an algorithm that involves many of the trigonometric function in its algorithm. In physics, you must have seen or you might be seeing that the sound waves vary sinusoidally like this. So without any further ado, let's dive deep into the topic. The next topic is trigonometric ratios versus trigonometric function. The chapter name is trigonometric function, but in class 10th, we have learned a chapter with the name of trigonometric ratios. The obvious question coming into the student mind would be, are they both same? Are they both different? The answer to this question is, they both are different. Let me explain with a small example how they are different and what is the difference between them. Suppose you have a machine in your home. Like there are many applications of machine in our daily life. So suppose we have a machine in our daily life. Let's suppose it is a washing machine. What is the input to this machine? Suppose you have a washing machine. What would be the input to this washing machine? Obviously your clothes will be the input to this washing machine. And machine will definitely be giving some output. If it is a washing machine, then the input for this machine would be your clothes. It won't have input as vegetable or fruits, because they vegetable and fruits are input to some other machine. The some other machine would be grinder, juice or something like that. So every machine has a different input. So with this analogy, I will be explaining trigonometric ratios and trigonometric function. So students, let's see the difference. When in class 10th you were studying trigonometric ratios, the input to the trigonometric ratios was an angle. And just try to recall, the angle was lying between 0 to 90 degree only. Be it 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree. You were not going beyond 90 degree. So the input to the trigonometric ratio is an acute angle only. But when you are talking about trigonometric function, the input to the angle can be anything. The angle can be anything, be it acute, be it obtuse, or be it reflex, be it negative. I repeat it again, the angle can be negative also. So there is no limitation to trigonometric function. The angle can take any value. So students, let's recall how we were defining trigonometric ratio in class 10th. Suppose we have to find out these 6 trigonometric ratio for an angle theta. Then what we have to do? We have to make a right angle triangle containing that angle theta, and the side opposite to this angle theta was called perpendicular, and the side adjacent to the angle theta was called the base, and the biggest side was called hypotenuse. So the sine theta was given as P by H, cos theta B by H, tan theta P by B, cot theta B by P, sec theta H by B, and cosec theta H by P. Now we have to understand how trigonometric function is defined. But before defining trigonometric function, we have to build a small base. And the base for defining trigonometric function is the angle. So first of all, we will be learning how angle is defined. What are the different units of defining an angle? How one unit of an angle can be converted into another unit? So first of all, we will be covering this section, and once we are well versed with this kind of information, then we will be defining trigonometric function. Now let's see what angle is. Angle is the measure of rotation of a ray. Angle is the measure of rotation of a ray about its initial point. This is called the initial point. Sometimes it is called vertex also. So it tells how much the ray has rotated. If the angle is more, the rotation would be more. If the rotation is less, the angle would also be less. Now the question arises into the student mind that there are two possibility of rotation. Either the ray can rotate like this, otherwise the ray can rotate like this. Yeah, I completely agree with you. If the ray is rotating this anti-clockwise is also called as counterclockwise. If the ray is rotating counterclockwise, then the rotation, whatever the rotation or the angle that we will be getting will be in positive sign only, like plus 30, plus 60, plus 90, plus 80. So whatever the rotation is happening in counterclockwise direction, the angle will be denoted with a positive sign. And whenever the ray is rotating in a clockwise direction, this is called clockwise sense. Whenever the ray is rotating in a clockwise sense, the angle will be denoted with a negative sign. In clockwise rotation, the angle will be denoted with a negative sign. I hope you are getting the sense of what the plus and negative sign of an angle mean. If there is a positive sign in any of the angle, that means the ray has rotated in a counterclockwise direction. And if any angle is denoted with a negative sign, then it simply means that the ray has rotated by clockwise direction. I hope you are clear. So students, so far we have defined what an angle is. Let me give you a very small situation. If you are going to a shop and you wanna buy some length of cloth, and your mom has explained you how much length of cloth that you need. If you are going to a market and if you are asking for a shopkeeper to give a cloth, then obviously he will ask you how much cloth then you will have to specify. Either you require the cloth for 2 meter, 2 centimeter or 2 kilometer. So you will have to specify what length of cloth you require. So that's why unit is required for every physical quantity. So that's why we will be learning at the units of angle. So the very first unit of angle is revolution. So let's see what revolution is. If you have a ray initially at this position, now the ray start rotating. If the ray has started rotating and comes to its initial position once again, then the angle that it has rotated is said to be 1 revolution. Initial and final direction of the ray are same. So the angle it has rotated is called 1 revolution. In short, you can also write it as 1. Please note, I have made it on a spiral way. I haven't made this in this way. If I would have made it in this way, then I would have made a confusion that if I would have told you to make 2 revolution, how would you make 2 revolution? 1, 2. It would seem as a 1 revolution for one person. It would seem as a 2 revolution for another person. So that's why you need to make a spiral. If you are making a spiral, then 1 revolution, 2 revolution, 3 revolution, 4 revolution, any revolution would be itself very clear. I hope the things are making sense. Let's move on to the second unit. So the second unit of angle measurement is degree. So far we have learned that this much angle is 1 revolution. Now if you divide this angle into 360 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't make 360 practically. It's not possible for me. So I'm assuming I have made 360 equal parts. So I'm just moving out one part of this thing. Whatever the angle is present between these two is called 1 degree. Let's recall how 1 degree is defined. If you divide one whole revolution into 360 equal part, then the angle subtended between two given line is called 1 degree. So this is 1 degree. Now one question was asked by a student, sir, why 360? Why only 360 part? Why not 100 part? 100 would have been more convenient. The answer to this thing is, in earlier time, in Babylonian civilization, it was assumed that we had 12 months and every month was having 30 days. So in total, we were having 12 into 30, that was 360 days. So on that logic, they have divided 1 revolution into 360 parts. I hope it is clear. From this, we can make a relation. How many parts are these? 360. So I can write it as 360 degree is equal to 1 revolution. Because this is 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree. If I sum all the degrees, then it will become 360 degree. 360 degree is equal to 1 revolution. I hope it is clear to you. Let's look into the second unit of angle, that is minute. Suppose this is the zoom diagram of 1 degree. Now suppose I make 60 equal division. 1, 2, 3 up to 60. 60 equal division. This is 1 degree. I have made 60 equal division. If I take out two lines, two consecutive lines, then the angle made between these two lines is called 1 minute. For convenience, we write 1 minute as 1 minute. I hope this is clear. From here, we can see that we have 60 equal division, and that means 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, up till 60 minutes. So I can write it as 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. So this is the relation between degree and minute. So now the fourth unit of angle measurement is second. Suppose this is the zoom diagram of 1 minute. Now again I am dividing it into 60 equal parts. The one part that is gonna make an angle is called 1 second. For sake of convenience, we write it in this way, 1 second. There was one dash over it in minute. Now it is 2 dash over it. I hope it is clear. And the relation that we are going to establish between minute and second is like 60 part are making 1 minute. Therefore, we can write it as 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Now let's move on to the very important unit of angle measurement, that is radian. Let's see what radian is. For this, the definition is pretty simple. What you need to do is make a circle of unit radius. And now suppose this was initial direction of ray O M. Since it is a unit radius circle, we are going to mention this r is equal to 1. Now what do you have to do? Now you have to move a unit length on the circumference. Unit. Now what the angle, this arc length will be subtending on the center is called 1 radian. This is the angle subtended by the arc of unit length at the center. This is called 1 radian. I hope it is clear. What 1 radian is, if somebody is going to ask you what 1 radian is, you are going to tell him, first you are going to make a unit radius circle, then the unit arc length on this unit radius circle, the angle subtended by the unit arc length at the center would be 1 radian. Now the definition is clear. What 1 radian is? It is the angle subtended by a unit arc length on a unit circle at the center is called 1 radian. So this is clear. Now suppose we won't be like every time we won't be having a unit radius circle. We are going to have a circle of suppose any general radius 5, 6, 7, 8 something like that. So what is the length of what is the angle that is going to subtend by an angle arc of length L at the center is given by a relation. There is a standard relation. Suppose this is a circle of radius R. Suppose there is a arc length L. Suppose the arc is of length L. The angle subtended by this arc at the center theta is given by this relation. L is equal to R theta. Please make a note that theta angle in radian. Whatever theta that we will be getting from this relation would be definitely in radian. It won't be in degree, it won't be in revolution, it won't be in minute or second. So the angle that we are gonna put here, or whatever the angle that we are gonna get from this relation would definitely be in radian only. I hope things are clear. Now if at all you are given any circle and an arc on that circle of a particular length, then you would be able to tell what that arc will make an angle at the center. I hope things are clear. So student, let's do a question for better understanding of the theory. We have to draw following angles. The angles are given in degree. So we have a basic understanding of what angle is 90 degree, 180 degree, 360. So first of all, we will make a ray. For the first question, we will make a ray. And we know this complete angle is 360 degree. So we will be making this 360 degree. Since the angle is positive, that's why we are moving in counterclockwise direction. For the second question, the angle is 180 degree. Initially, we will be making a ray. Now we will be rotating it such that the final position of the ray is this, and the angle turned is 180 degree. For the third one, 270 degree. Initial position of the ray. Now the ray will rotate like this, 90, 180, 270. This angle is not 270 degree. Please make a note. This angle is 270. For the fourth question, 420. 420 is equal to 360 plus 60 degree. That's why it's 420. So for fourth part, we will be doing like this. Initial position of ray. First of all, we will be making 360 degree. 360 is this much. And then after, we will be moving 60 ahead. We need to move 60 more. That's why we will be moving 60 more. This is 360. Then 60 more. 60 more will come out to be here. So just see how I am depicting the angle. This hole is 360. Now this 60 more. This is 420. I hope it is making sense. Now minus 30 degree. Minus just signifies the sense of rotation is clockwise. In positive it was counterclockwise. In negative it means just clockwise. So in fifth part we will be doing like this. This is the initial position of the ray. Minus 30 just depicts clockwise rotation only. This is minus 30 degree. Sixth part, minus 420 degree. Just we have to do the reverse rotation of this kind of angle. Initial position of the ray. Now we have to move in clockwise direction. Minus 360 degree, 60 more. That means we have to move 60 more. This will be the final position of the ray. This is minus 360. This is minus 420. I hope all the 6 parts are clear to you. So students, let's do a similar question when the angles are given in radian. We are given a relation that L is equal to r theta. This is the arc length on the circumference. This is the radius of circle. Suppose the radius of circle is r is equal to 1 unit. Then what we will put? r is equal to 1, therefore L is equal to theta. Whatever the arc length you will be having on a unit radius circle, the angle that you will be subtending at the center will be equal to the arc length. Suppose you have an arc of length x unit. Then calculate in your mind only the angle that you are going to subtend at the center will also be x, but the unit will be in radian. Now these all questions will be a piece of cake for you. Suppose you want to make a 1 radian. What we are gonna do? You will just put angle x, then you will put x unit as 1 unit. Therefore, for the first part, you will do like this. It's a unit radius circle. R is equal to 1. This is the initial direction of the ray. Now you will move 1 unit. If you are moving 1 unit on the circumference, the angle subtended by the unit, then the arc length would be 1 radian. I hope it is clear. For minus 1 radian, what you are gonna do? You just need to move in the clockwise direction rather than clockwise, counterclockwise direction. For the second part, what you need to do? This is P, this is O, this is the unit radius circle. You just need to move 1 unit. This angle will come out to be minus 1 radian, since the angle is measured in clockwise direction. For 3/2 radian, you just need to move 3/2 on the unit radius circle. OP radius of the circle is 1, therefore just you need to move 3/2 unit. 3/2 unit, then the angle subtended would be 3/2 radian. That is plus 3/2 radian. For minus 3/2, this angle will come out to be minus 3/2 radian when this arc length is 3/2 unit on unit radius circle. I hope all these 4 examples are more than enough to illustrate all the theory that you have covered so far. Thank you. So students, we have learned a lot about angles. Now we are gonna move on to a very interesting and very important topic of angle, that is interconversion of angle. Interconversion of angle from degree to radian as well as from radian to degree. We will not just cram the formula, just mug up the formula. We will just go also on the basic how that formula has been derived. So let's move. If we are just measuring the angle in degree, we have seen in earlier section how much this angle was in degree. It was 360 degree. Let's find out how much this angle is it in radian. Let's suppose the radius of circle is r. This much angle will be when, like suppose initially we are having arc length this much. So how much angle will it be subtended at the center? This much. Now let's increase the arc length. Now the angle subtended at the center will be this much. Now slowly we have increased the arc length up till this. Without any doubt, you will be seeing the angle subtended at the center would be this much. I hope it is clear. From the relation of L is equal to r theta, this is what arc length. At this time, it is also behaving as the complete circumference of the circle. Therefore, L will become 2 pi r. R is r only, theta. We can cancel r. Now, theta is equal to 2 pi. And the unit would be radian. Now, we have got a relation. This, we can see, this is 2 pi radian. This is 360 degree. So we can say that this angle is equal to this angle. Obviously, these both the angles are equal. Therefore, we can say that 360 degree is equal to 2 pi radian. We can cancel 2 by 180 times. Therefore, what the relation we are getting is pi radian is equal to 180 degree. Let me segregate this thing and elaborate a bit more onto this formula. So student, the formula derived is 180 degree is equal to pi radian. From here we can write it as 1 degree, 180 degree is equal to pi radian. Therefore 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radian. Here we are going to write pi radian is equal to 180 degree. Therefore 1 radian is equal to 180 by pi degree. Sir, why you have written the two formulas? These are not the two formula. This is the way of writing the single formula only. Whenever you are given any angle in degree and you are asked to write that angle in radian, then you are going to use this one. And whenever you are given an angle in radian and you are asked to write that angle in degree, then you are going to use this angle. I hope things are clear to you. We are going to do some of the question which will make you this kind of theory more easier. So students, let's see some of the question on interconversion for better understanding. We have to convert the following angles given in degree into radians and the angle given in radian into degrees. Please note, whensoever any unit is not given in the angle, then assume that angle to be in radian only. Here you can see that there is no unit in the angle, then assume that the angle are given in radian only. Let's see first angle is given in degree, we have to convert into radian. Then we have to use this formula or this formula. We have to use this formula. Then what we have to do? 30 degree. 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radian. Then 2 degree is equal to 2 into pi by 180. 3 degree is equal to 3 into pi by 180. Then 30 degree is equal to 30 into pi by 180 radian. And that simplifies to pi by 6 radian. Second question. The angle given is in radian. Now we have to convert it into degree. We have to use this formula. 1 radian is equal to this degree. Then 2 radian is equal to 2 into this. 3 radian is equal to 3 into this. Pi by 4 radian is equal to pi by 4 into this. That means pi by 4 into 180 by pi degree. Pi to pi cancel. Then this comes out to be 45 degree. I hope things are clear. Third question. Again we have to multiply by pi by 180. 60 into pi by 180, and this will come out to be pi by 3 radian. For the fourth part, I have to multiply by 180 by pi degree, and this will come out to be 90 degree. Last part, I request you to do the last part. The angle given is in degree and you have to convert into radian. You have to use this formula. And the last question answer will come out to be pi radian. I hope things are making sense and you are connecting all the dots.